Hi there, everyone. I'm just finished reacting to the latest Nintendo Direct, and wow, everything we saw from the Switch 2 to all the games, this was an incredible show. Maybe it wasn't so much that there were a lot of new IPs. There definitely were a lot of new IPs, new games, lots of ports coming to the Switch. But what really surprised me is just every game that we did see was a quality game, even if it was the old GameCube, collection. Those were all quality games. All the ports are those are quality games. All of the new IPs seem like quality games, and I am blown away. I haven't seen a direct this good in a long time. I think there was a direct just a week ago or something, and this one was pushed to today for some reason. I don't know. But I was just really surprised just by the overall quality of everything that we saw. Um, I guess I'm reminded of, I don't know, past directs that just weren't very good, and this one was consistently good throughout. So yeah, we have things like, okay, so there's new Mario Kart World. But then yeah, I was really surprised by the ports, especially. So you have friggin' Cyberpunk, Yakuza Zero. Um, I literally have to go back and like look through some of these. Elden Ring, you have Elden Ring coming to Switch 2. This is insane. This is literally crazy. Nintendo is so strong in the game compartment, and for the past decade, and I said this years ago that Nintendo is going to be the king eventually, because at some point, graphics are going to plateau. And really, if you look at, I mean, maybe the physics of the newer engines, so between like PS3 and Wii and Xbox and 360 back then, they had a certain advantage, but it was really over mostly graphics and the size of the games. And of course, we've come to a point now where people don't want longer games; they want shorter games. And it was always an ideology of mine that Nintendo would eventually dominate once graphics plateaued and there wasn't a stark difference between systems. So even though the Nintendo Switch 2 is now outputting at 1080p, at least handheld. I'm not sure about. Sorry, no. If you plug it in, you have some games that are 4K compatible. So now that they're kind of equal, and the architecture of these other games isn't so onerous that you can port it to the Switch. I mean, Doom Eternal is even on Switch 1, which is still shocking to me every time I see it. And I see these amazing collection of games where it's like all the Phoenix Wright games, DS stuff. All of the there was a Star Wars collection I just saw, which was both Jedi Knights, Star Wars Pod Racer, both Knights of the Old Republic, Force Unleashed, and Republic Commando, all on one game cartridge. That is insane. Nintendo is so strong on just making games and collections, and I've played all these games on their respective original consoles. So for me, it's maybe not as big of a deal, but I'm still so impressed that they are selecting some of the best quality of things. And yeah, now that Nintendo 1080p 4K, people don't really care. If you're able to put Cyberpunk on the Switch, if you're put Elden Ring on the Switch, if you're able to put all the best games that physically could not fit on a Nintendo console previous generations that now do, the incentive to go after Sony and Xbox, who are competing around things like graphics, fidelity, processing speed, and those consoles have really let go of the whole exclusivity idea. Well, when nothing is exclusive, then you're going to go to the platform that has the most portability and also the lowest price point, which is Nintendo. And of course, you can argue, well, PC is the ultimate platform because it's everything's free technically, which is true. And everything can be emulated on PC, but it's never exactly intended for it. Here, at least, they're porting it, and the ports at least work as well as they can. Essentially, I think there's only some magic lost with the difference in controller, but not really much, to be frank with you. So yeah, no, the amount of ports that Switch has, Nintendo's become the ultimate gaming library. and I feel like the other consoles have fallen behind. And this was I was saying this a couple months ago even, that the future of gaming is going to be Nintendo and PC. Everything that you could want to play on console is going to be on PC, plus all the indie games that I actually want to play are on PC. And then Nintendo is just going to be the system for everything that's industry regulated or from AAA. If I can play Elden Ring, I mean, I wouldn't play it. So this is the thing, right? So I'm really impressed by everything I see, but would I actually buy any of these games? That's kind of a weirdly different question. Simply because I know I like the idea of things being available and spread to other consoles and people and games and having that accessibility. I really appreciate that from a utilitarian platonic viewpoint. But for myself personally, I wouldn't play a lot of these because I think they should be played on the original hardware and system that they were designed for. So for example, with a few notable exceptions, if the consoles are very similar, then it's like, okay, who cares? But for Elden Ring, for example, that's a FromSoft game. FromSoft has always been on PlayStation. I really want to play that on PS5, and when I play a PS5, I want it on one console. I don't want to like jump ship from PS5 to PS5 Pro. So really, I'm waiting for PS5 Pro to go on sale, which is going to be years. And honestly, I've been in this situation before where the PS3 came out, and it's something that I never thought I would really own because it was just so expensive. It was such arrogant, like everyone who owned a PS3 was so arrogant at the time, and people who didn't play games and had no games owned PS3s. And it was only after until really that generation ended. I even bought a PS2 that I never owned and I grew up with before I bought a PS3. So that's just kind of where my mind was and where I was going. So yeah, but yeah, no, I'm very impressed that Nintendo has this huge library. Like they are a console for gamers. They're not for graphics, they're not for processing speeds, they're not for digital foundry comparison videos. They are for getting the experience in the games and the quality experience. And that's why I think Switch is projected at least to outsell the PS2 at this rate, which to me it makes sense, honestly. But yes, would I play any of these? Well, that's a different question because a lot of these again I've already played or are sequels to franchises I might not be super interested in. So Yakuza Zero, yeah, I've already played that. Cyberpunk, I've already played that. Street Fighter 6, Street Fighter 6. That's crazy. That's crazy that all these games that are like, oh yeah, that'll never be a Nintendo console. They're all on Switch now. Switch is like the port system, but and where it was usually shovelware, now it's getting really good games, and it's getting to a point where it's a little ridiculous. If you are a new gamer that has never been exposed to games before, I think the Switch is the perfect place to get started. Mainly because the Switch Pro controller, it's not the best controller. I'd say it's a very good controller. Personally, my favorite is the Xbox Series X controller. It has like textured underlining. It's more streamlined. I didn't realize how good it was as a controller until I went back to 360. I thought, oh, this feels alien and weird to me. So Xbox Series X is best controller. It's hands down one of the best experiences ever. But the Switch Pro controller, it's normal and versatile and well-rounded enough that to play through all of that history of gaming is something I'd recommend to someone who's just getting into games. I think buying a Switch or a Switch 2 is a great way to get started and to get exposed to all these different types of games that are, I don't know, just really, really good. The only thing I thought about is like if I were to start over my game library on the Switch, the only issue would be like storage space, I guess. I know it uses SD storage, but it's a little finicky how it works. But anyway, I'm just super glad that the spirit of like well, the main games on my Switch is Smash Ultimate. That's my favorite fighting game, party game, whatever of all time. And the fact that it is a everyone's here feeling, and the fact that Switch also has this philosophy with all these ports is such a great feeling. So let's start with some of the games we saw. Oh yeah, Borderlands 4. That's not even out yet, and they're like, yeah, it's coming to Switch too. I'm like, oh my god. This reminds me a little bit of the Wii U era, where Nintendo really was trying to push the Wii U, and they didn't really know how, and they were trying to get third parties involved, and they were really, really resistant to it because they really didn't mesh with the idea that Wii U was. I mean, Wii was gimmicky, but it was also still gamer friendly. Wii U was just super gimmicky. It like you had a giant touchscreen in front of you, and that was just a huge barrier for developers, not consumers. Well, honestly, and consumers, if we're being honest here. Because it was just weird. It was like, okay, well, what do we do with it? I guess we have to use this gigantic screen you're holding in your hand that has touch control. But most games aren't designed around that. So that's why a lot of things also didn't come to the Wii, because the design philosophy as well. Um, so going further on that point, a Switch is a very much return to more of a GameCube style era, where it's like, look, this is a gaming platform you can play games on. Yes, the controllers have infrared motion. Yes, they have vibration and mini, like all this weird technology that no one really uses. But at the end of the day, it's just a controller and a system. They said, we're just going to make a game system and just put games on it. And that's it. No weird gimmicks, no weird. Yes, okay, it's portable. It's portable. That's very a useful gimmick. You know, it's a useful thing to have. And it's kind of a handheld, kind of a whatever. It's an in between. It's an all rounder essentially. And it'll just be a platform to put your games on. That's it. And it's super accessible. And I love the Switch for that reason. And we can see it here produced in an era. So now that we're in the same life cycle as when the Wii upgraded and really mutated into the Wii U, the Switch is now upgrading and transforming like a butterfly into the Switch 2. And I still can't believe they just called it Switch 2. I mean, that's the funniest thing to me because it was a meme thing, like, oh, what are they gonna call Xbox 360, like Xbox 362? I mean, okay, I mean PlayStation has done that since the start, but yeah. So in the evolution of this system, what's different from the previous two generations technically is that when we transformed, it brought its gimmickness with it, and now that the Switch is transforming as an all-rounder game platform, it's transforming just to a stronger all-rounder game platform that's also portable. So, whereas in the Wii U era, third-party developers, like for example, they put, oh god, it was so cringe. They put Mass Effect 3 on the Wii U, and it's like, no, you don't. You do not. No. The point of Mass Effect as a series is that all your choices and decisions run through the series from 1 to 2 to 3 and just start fresh at 3 on a Wii. You just, oh no, it's so, it's so icky. No, why would you do that? Why would you do that? And they were obviously paying. They're trying to bring in Ubisoft and Rockstar and people. Did the Rockstar get put something? I forget. But like all the third parties that end up on Wii U were just cringe. It was like this is not working, guys. This is a very weird, awkward family reunion. Further to that, so now that you have Switch as an all rounder that's upgrading, third party developers are like, hell yeah, let's jump on board. We love Nintendo. We love the fact that your system is not weird. It's just a system that is also portable. So yeah, we'll put Doom Eternal and maybe Doom the Dark Ages. I don't know. I mean, it's like Cyberpunk. We'll put everything and anything on your system, and it'll just be a system for games. And it's like, yes, thank you. This is genius. This is so smart. And so we're having this renaissance, I feel, almost with Nintendo, where it's becoming, I mean, not the best way to play some of these games, but it's becoming good enough that it can host all of these games and it doesn't feel weird and forced like it did on Wii U. I think it's a very exciting time for Nintendo. Doug Bowser's time is here, which is weird, honestly. I think it's great Doug Bowser is the president of like Nintendo of America, but and just all the jokes around him, but I just don't see him a lot, like in this video or any videos. Like Reggie had a much more higher publicity sentiment in Nintendo, despite it being some of the worst years of Nintendo, frankly, through the Wii U era. I just don't know where this guy is. He's plotting schemes. I don't know. But yeah, no, this got me really, really excited. So yeah, so let's talk about some of the new IPs we saw. So we saw Well, first of all, the not Elden Ring, but the Dusk Blood. That was I have mixed feelings about that because so obviously they're doing this thing with Elden Ring Night Ring where they're like, okay, we're gonna do Elden Ring but multiplayer for like, PS5 and Xbox whatever. And then they were like, well, what about Switch? So I feel like this is the Elden Ring Night Ring for Nintendo, and it's kind of been scoped down a little bit or scoped differently at least for the Nintendo system, in that sense where, how do I say this? Um, it's Bloodborne 2, but it's not Bloodborne 2. Uh, I really enjoyed the idea or the essence or the fact that, I mean, because in their previous ones they had Dark Souls and they had direct sequels like Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, like just flat out. And then they scrapped that and then they did Bloodborne and then is it Sekiro? I forget, Tsushima and Sekiro mixed up. And then they did Elden Ring. So they just dropped the numerals and said, okay, we're going to do a slightly remix. So if they did make a sequel to Bloodborne, I don't know if they'd actually call it Bloodborne 2 or they call it something like Dust Souls. So is this actually the idea or the sequel to Bloodborne? Or is this like a weird spin-off like Mario Kart and Mario Kart DS? Or like Assassin's Creed and Assassin's Creed Chronicles, for example. So it doesn't feel to me like a full Bloodborne sequel. It feels like a Bloodborne spin-off. And that's fine because there's some things I see in that I think, oh, that's really cool. Yes, you have the sword, you have the firearm on the side, you have the Gothic clock towers, you have the whole kind of aesthetic of Bloodborne, but it's more during the day. There's more light in it, frankly. So I'm really not sure. And there's things that, like, some of the designs are cool. Okay, there's a guy with a jetpack. There's some interesting other characters in there as well. So yeah, there's a lot of other character designs and things that we saw in that small trailer, and some of it I liked and some of it I didn't like. Like, for example, there's one part where you transform into a dinosaur and chew up a guy. Like, that's kind of cool. That's really crazy. But again, it doesn't feel Bloodborne. It's a little too much, right? Like, if it was a Gothic dinosaur, I don't know how you'd even do that. I feel it'd be more like, okay, cool. It felt more like a video game rather than Bloodborne, if that makes any sense. So I'm like half excited for it. And what I'm really saying is it's a game that I think looks interesting, but I'm not sold on it. I don't know if I play it. I'd be like, maybe. I'm kind of in like a take it or leave it kind of mode right now. So yeah, there's that. What else? Yeah, so many ports again. Cyberpunk, Yakuza. There's what's really interesting is that there are new versions of games. So there's a Switch 2 version of like Kirby and Tears of the Kingdom that'll have new features, which, like, if I'm reading this right, what's going on is that I have to buy the same game again to get DLC for it. Like, I really hope that's not the case, but that's what they made it seem like. If that's the case, I'm just not buying it. Like, I played Tears. I love Tears. I played Forgotten Land. I really enjoyed Forgotten Land. But if I'm buying the same game again, and it's Nintendo game, so it's full price, just to get a little extra DLC of a few hours, I'm probably not going to do that. I think they said there's an upgrade thing. Oh, this is the other thing that bothers me a little bit, is they said that not all games are going to be Switch 2 compatible. So my friend was like, oh, we'll just have 2 Switches. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I only want 1 Switch. It might be like, well, I guess some games I just have to sacrifice, but it really depends on the games that I might be leave behind. I think one game that will be left behind that isn't super compatible is Deadly Premonition 2. I love that game. I love the Deadly Premonition series, but if it's not compatible, I don't know. I mean, I really do want to get a Switch 2 because it feels like a proper upgrade where you just, all the things are totally compatible. All the things are just, whatever, completely integrated. Everything is just totally movable. So, like, why wouldn't you go for it? I've never seen as going from 360 to like 360 Elite as an upgrade. I don't know why. I always thought it as a new system. with like different arc. Actually, no, that it was an upgrade. What am I talking about? I'd like from 360 to Xbox One. That's not an upgrade to me. And I know Xbox has been trying to sell their Xboxes like, oh, these are just PC upgrades. Like, this is just the new version that's just more powerful. It doesn't really have exclusives. It just runs more powerful games, which may or may not work. It's just like, but for, and yeah, it's like from 360 to Xbox One, just games were completely incompatible. But they're trying to say that that's not what they're trying to do. It's like when they add those Series S and Series X, and some games are compatible and some games aren't, and there's two different versions of the same. It's weird. It's stupid. But regardless, anyway, I guess what I'm trying to get at is that I'm really excited to move to Switch 2. I really, really am. It sounds like a really cool, really great idea. They added things like, well, there's some, not everything's great. I mean, they added things like game chat, so they have a C button for chat, which is interesting, I guess. I'm definitely not using that. I like, oh, they added a GameCube Online. Again, like, I really hate that they're charging so much for online, and it's yearly too. So I think if you broke it down, it might be like $10 or $5 a month, but they make you buy it in one chunk. And I haven't done it yet because I just don't care enough. And it's like emulating games that, frankly, free emulators do better than the actual official Nintendo one, which is just stupid. What else? Oh yeah, so there's some negatives. So I just found this out, and people are finding this out now, that the way Switch 2 cartridges work are really, really scummy. For example, it's a one-time thing, but the cartridge itself is like a license key, and you put in the console to download the game, and once it's downloaded, you're good. But from that point on, you need to have an if you bought a Switch 2 20 years from now, if they shut down the servers essentially for you to download that game, then every single new or undownloaded cartridge will essentially be bricked. And that is horrifying. That is terrible for long-term consumerism, because it basically means once we're done supporting the Switch 2, you literally can't use any games on it. So the only way to play a game will be to buy someone else's system, which is frankly insane. That is really scummy, to use a certain word. So yeah, that's like just bizarrely restrictive for no good reason. Like, people today can still buy GameCubes and GameCube games and plug them in and play them, no problem, no internet required. But they're basically doing what PC gaming was doing in the early 2000s, where you'd have to like have a license activation key and go to a server to authenticate that, yeah, you can play this game. And it was a one-time thing usually, or sometimes it was an every-time thing. And of course, some of these companies have gone out of business, and some of these companies are still in business but don't feel like supporting that server anymore, because like, oh, well, who wants to play a 10 or 15-year-old game? Well, according to the recent Steam user statistics, most people are playing games from more than 10 years ago, like 70% or something to 80%. So to just like, I guess the word is past block older games just feels weird and stupid, and just, why would you do this? To what end? Why? And it's just very anti-consumer. It's not the end of the world. I mean, there's probably going to be super rare instances of consumers who will actually want to do that. But again, it's the idea of it. The idea that, yeah, you can buy an N64 at any time, at any period. It's like if you bought an N64 and we're like, oh, well, because you didn't buy it in the 90s, or you didn't buy it when it was on the market, you now can't use it anymore, is just terrible. That's a terrible, scummy thing to do. Again, it'll be great for people who play games, modern games or whatever, but it's just not. Oh, speaking of new games, a sequel to Kirby's Air Ride. Are you crazy? Is this crazy? I can't contain myself. I'm actually insane. That's actually insane. And it's directed by Sakurai. Like, the guy who has been being like, oh, I'm retired, I'm doing these YouTube videos. Nope, he's back and he's directing it. I think that is frigging fantastic. That is so cool. And again, I mean, to add to that though, is it a game? It's a weird thing because I've owned it, I've played it, and I actually don't like Kirby's Air Ride all that much. But I've seen tournaments and I've seen like it's a weird niche game of people who really love that, and it was like a weird Nintendo game that people just fell in love with like so much. And I personally just like I've played it with other people too. I just don't get it. Like okay, you have to like prep. You have to go around this giant city map, find items, which are all preparation for the race that happens in like 20 minutes, and you have to like beat each other and you like get all these upgrades and stuff. And it's weird that as the game itself, I really don't care for it, but as the notion, as the idea of the game, it's way more engaging, and I'm just so happy and pleased to see that get love and attention and potential for a sequel and potential for spin-offs. I mean, I've seen and said this about a lot of indie games like Mindwave and Pizza Tower. Those are just WarioWare. Those are literally Wario games that have been restyled in a intellectual property appropriate scaling way that says, yeah, it's okay, you can go ahead and make this and do it, but they're still pulling from designs and concepts that are kind of proven essentially. And I think Kirby's Air Ride, again, is one of those niche Nintendo games that is a proven concept but could be executed in more interesting and dynamic and new ways. And that's just, I don't know, that's just really exciting that is getting a sequel. And because there's the whole cult following around that game, that to see a sequel to that is like seeing a sequel to like a cherished, beloved childhood thing that is not being done by some scummy person, but the guy who originally created it. The guy who has all this love and attention. I mean, I'll stop myself there. I don't know if Sakurai worked or did Kirby's Air Ride. He definitely worked on Kirby games. I'm not sure about Air Ride, but I'd assume so. And it feels so good to see that. It feels like the same feeling I got when I saw Psychonauts 2, and it's still Double Fine, it's still Tim Schafer, and playing that game, it's like no time passed. From 2004 to 2019, Psychonauts 1 to 2, it was like a proper direct sequel that was everything you could ask for from a Psychonauts game. Not the best game in the world, but everything you could want from that game, it delivered. I'm super grateful, thankful for that. Of course, Metroid Prime 4, they're really pushing this, showing this off. It looks really impressive. Again, Metroid Prime 4, it's so weird that I can get excited about games but not actually want to play them. And some games I can see, I'm like, oh, that looks really cool. I'm really happy for other people to play that, and I'm happy that it exists, but I personally might not play it. Metroid Prime 4 is one where I'm really on the fence, where I really like Metroid Prime 1 to 3. I liked 1. I love 2, and I was kind of mid on 3. There are parts that were really, really cool and parts that were just not really great. So, I mean, and it's a game that people have been asking for over and over, and the idea of it is really cool. But now that it's actually here, it's like, I don't know if I'd actually really enjoy it. It kind of like Kirby Forgotten Land. It's a really nice, fun, good Kirby sequel, but there's nothing in that game that really made me go, wow. Except for maybe the final boss. That was kind of like a cool moment where it expanded my mind of what was possible design-wise, tech-wise in a Kirby game. So there's that level of innovation where it's like, I'm looking at Metroid Prime 4, I'm thinking, yeah, that's kind of Metroid Prime 1, but just more talent overworld, Honestly, I think what might break the straw on that camel's back might be the music. The atmosphere. If you can deliver music and atmosphere like Prime 1, I might come on board, honestly. And now that I think about Prime 1, I'm actually getting very nostalgic. Just about the environments, the music, it feels really magical in a weird way. The gameplay itself isn't super impressive, but the world, now that I think about it, is actually very interesting. And so that's the thing. With Prime 4, I don't see a lot of atmosphere. I see that it's functional, it works, it looks like a Metroid Prime game, it looks decently fun, but I think this is where we get into the concept of iconic archetypes, quiddity, essence, and just an experience that is derivative. Like, it looks like another Metroid Prime game. And even though that's what everyone has been asking for, And this is the thing, like gamers always ask for things that they don't actually want. Um, FromSoft would never make Elden Ring because all of the fans would just ask for Dark Souls 4. That aspect of innovation and newness and creation of something completely different is something you can't demand. It has to be something that's natural and from the hearts of the developers. And with AAA becoming so corporatized, the ability for a developer to get his full vision past corporate and into a game is frankly it's almost impossible, and if not very difficult. And that's why I'm really looking towards the indie market like exclusively now. I look at AAA and I sigh and I fall asleep. Like it's so dead to me, and I feel like this show kind of brought it back a little bit, just a little bit. I feel like Nintendo is back. Anyway, some other things, it's magnetic now. You can now use mouse mode, which is, at first I thought that was really dumb. It wouldn't work for anything. But then I saw them, Civilization 7, that's coming to Switch. And it shows how they have this little thing where they're moving it around and it's like, it works like a mouse. I'm like, that's really cool, because the huge bridge and gap between RTS and like PC focused games and console games is the mouse accuracy. You need to be very accurate with mouse games. And that's something you can only really do on PC. So having that level of accuracy with turning the controller into a mouse, like that's so genius. That's innovative. I actually love that. And if that's the case, I would be super, super interested to see more PC games and RTS games come to Switch. I mean, imagine StarCraft on Switch. That would be crazy. I mean, the other issue with PC-focused games or original games is that they also have hotkeys. They have a keyboard. If you have to do a bunch of things at once, but that's bridging half the gap. If one part of your controller can turn into a mouse and be hyper accurate, and then you have certain menus where you have to like scroll over font, text, stats, whatever, and highlight very specific things. I could see. It's so interesting. I've never seen a console bridge that gap before. The only thing you would have to do then is worry about the hot buttons, the hotkeys. But there have been a lot of PC games that have done that, like Halo Wars, where they've tried to do, like you hold down L and then suddenly that's your shift key and then all of your functions change. And so you have double the amount of buttons. So I don't know. To think there'd be an RTS renaissance on the Switch is... That's an interesting thought. That's a very interesting thought. Other PC games, though, that have kind of been locked. Like, I'm trying to think of very PC-focused games. RTS is definitely one of them. Any kind of management game, any kind of simulator. It really seems like the bridge between PC and consoles are really becoming very thin. Even vice versa. There's a lot of games now that release on demo on Steam that require controllers. It's like, okay, well, why didn't you release this on? Oh, because you can, because it's an indie. And I understand you're like two guys in some second world country or something, and you want to people to play your game, and it is popular first. Speaking of which, Deltarune, finally. So that's the other thing. Here's Damon X Machina on the screen, but we had two games that I thought were dead. We haven't seen them. There's no news. They're dead in the water. Forget about it. They're not coming. Guess what? Deltarune chapters 1 to 4 and Silksong, Hello, are coming out. That was just the cherry on top from Team Cherry. Literally, I thought from last Switch reveal that because Silksong wasn't mentioned, like, it's over. It's literally over. It's never coming out. I heard something that their studio, they had to fire like half their staff because they had like internal issues or something. So yeah, I don't know. Honestly, and again, like Silksong, probably a game I probably won't play unless the reviews are really good. Because I played Hollow Knight originally on Switch, and I really did enjoy it. But I didn't super enjoy it, if you know what I mean. Like, it was good, but it wasn't amazing. It was like, okay, yeah, this is a fine Dark Souls 2D action platformer. It's like, yeah, it's alright. It's nothing amazing, but I think there were a lot of people just jumped on that bandwagon. It was kickstarted, whatever. So, I mean, kudos to them. But yeah, to get a sequel to that game, would I actually play it? Eh, maybe not, honestly. I might try it, but I think I got my Hollow Knight fix, really. I don't really need a sequel, but it's just the idea that they've been working on it for so long, and it looks like a decent game, and it looks like Hollow Knight fans deserve a sequel, and they've been waiting for this for so long that it deserves to come out, is what I'm saying. And then Deltarune, oh my god, Toby Fox. I can tell. I mean, obviously, it's very much inspired by Earthbound, but Toby Fox is uh, very comfortable or friendly with Nintendo. He wants to be a Nintendo kind of guy, more so than PC or PlayStation, Xbox or whatever. He wants to be a Nintendo guy, and you can see a lot of his exclusive content have been for Switch and Nintendo based. And I just I don't know. I want his game to do well. I like the guy. I like his series. I like Deltarune. So far that I've played it, then with first two chapters are out. It's nice, but I honestly like Undertale better simply because it's a constructed finished package. And I just feel like he's doing a lot of new cool experimental stuff with Deltarune, but nothing that is really delivering. Like honestly, I'm very confused by Undertale because I played Undertale first and then I played Earthbound or the Mother series, and I still like Undertale more than Earthbound. And that really shocked me. Like I do like Earthbound, but I liked Undertale more. And that was just very shocking to me because Undertale, it's more defined, distinct, condensed, iconic, and fun, and I like the writing. It's very also as emotional as Mother 3, but as funny, if not funnier, than Mother 2. Um, yeah. So yeah, those two games coming out, like thank God they exist. But we've been seeing here, Double O Seven, Hades 2, Bravely Default remake, a remaster rather, Street Fighter 6, Split Fiction. All the games that I associate, yeah, okay, they're not for Nintendo. They're all here, and it's like, yeah, I guess they have better hardware. They can do it. The Nintendo's where the party's at. And what I love is like compare this to like Microsoft and Xbox. Now, Xbox actually had a pretty good Xbox showcase. They like I think a year or so ago they showed like not new Halo. What did they show? Oh, new Doom. The Dark Ages, new Gears of War. Just lots of games, and along with some other kind of slop. Like Midnight, Southern Midnight, or whatever. But in this direct, like every single game that you see is a quality game. It's I'm so tired of Nintendo Directs being like farming sim and indie game that's like pixelated 2D art that no one cares about. Like 5 people care about that game. They're actually going to play it. But here, every single game is quality. Even if it was like GameCube emulation, Wind Waker, F-Zero, Fire Emblem Awakening. Finally, people can actually play the best Fire Emblem game. Like I'm super, super excited just to see good products. Not just new products, good products, old and new. So yeah, this whole show was extremely positive. I'm very excited. I'm very fun. Uh, just super excited about the future for Nintendo and gaming in general. This really invigorated me. Also here, yeah, Hyrule Warriors 2 or whatever, the imprisoning war. I missed the original Hyrule Warriors on Wii U because I have a Wii U, but I hate it. I really used it to just like port or bring things onto like a system that promoted that supported HDMI because I was running out of ports on my TV. That's kind of like and memory. That's like the only reason I really went over. I still love my Wii, but I was also kind of broken as well. But anyway, yeah, in the original Hyrule Warriors, I didn't get into it, but it looks like, oh, this is actually just a better version of that. Also, I was just like, okay, this is just Dynasty Warriors with a Zelda skin. Like, why do I care? So I might get into this new Hyrule Warriors. I don't know. I've never been a fan of Dynasty Warriors. Like, they're fun for like 20 minutes, and then you realize, like, you're just doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. Like you are literally like this is like a hack and slash. This is a button masher to me. You were just smashing the same thing, killing a bajillion things on screen at once, which is fine for some people. I know like a friend of mine is really into those kind of things, and I just never cared about it. Like he doesn't play it a lot, but he really has fond memories of it. And for me, I don't have fond memories and I don't like it a lot. Like it's fine, it's fun. Again for 20 minutes and then you're done. Anyway, I'm just gonna skip through the rest of this show. Oh yeah, Soul Calibur 2. Soul Calibur 2, best Soul Calibur. I do not care what anyone says. Soul Calibur 2 is ultimate Kino. They have Link, of course it's Nintendo, so why wouldn't they? But just the music, the setting, just seeing this game, seeing Wind Waker, seeing F-Zero GX, seeing all this good stuff. It nourishes my soul. It's so good to see it. Supports multiplayer, that'll be funny. You got Fire Emblem, Strikers, Luigi's Mansion, hey, you know. I hope they will just expand the library eventually. Again, these are all games I've played, but I just know it's so good. Oh yeah, and they added like a chat function to the controller. Again, I hate Switch Online. I hate how much they charge for it. It's really atrocious. Honestly, it should be free. All these games should come free with the Switch, is my honest opinion. You should be able to play as much Ocarina or F-Zero GX as you want with no charge. It should just come with the system. Be like, hey, look, you're going to emulate it on PC anyway. You might as well emulate it on the system that we're making it for. So it's like, all right. But yeah. So Deltarune. Oh, I just realized Sans is in this. That's crazy. So yeah, this other thing. It said it's a parallel story. I didn't realize this. I thought this was a sequel, but it says it's a parallel story to the Undertale thing. So yeah, like I already talked about this, but yeah, Deltarune, I'm super happy excited this coming out. Again, Borderlands 4, like that's crazy. Civilization 7, that is crazy. And that it's with a mouse or like a Switch mouse, so it might actually work. Who cares about wrestling? Then there's this game that looks kind of like, honestly, slop. This is the one slop game. There's one other slop game in this. Enter the Gungeon 2. I'm not really into reset type games, but yeah, this might be fun. This might be like a game that I would play on Game Pass, or I would try out as a demo because, you know, it's kind of fun. But oh, sorry. Okay, there are at least 2 slop games here. This is Astroneer, but multiplayer, I guess. Who cares about that? Cyberpunk. That's crazy. That is actually crazy. Cyberpunk Cyberpunk Ultimate on Switch. It's so funny to me. I've had weird mixed debates about Cyberpunk where I actually really like the combat, but the story and overall setting and tone of the game I just don't care for. Oh yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake on Switch. What? Are you crazy? Are you crazy, man? Like, this is Sony's baby. This is Sony's baby. Like, at this point, the reasons to get other consoles I just keep dwindling. If Nintendo's going to just steal and eat everyone's exclusives, and literally everyone, including while keeping their own exclusives, like really, why would you go out and play something else? Again, I would, because it's the original version idea. Like, this is the distinct way to play it on this console, with the director's vision intact. But at the same time, you know, oh yeah, they have this, the friggin' Okami whatever sequel game. Yeah, Silksong. This is the only thing they showed for it, but they showed, hey guys, it exists. It's still here. It's coming. And again, I see that and I think it looks more or less like Hollow Knight 1, so I'm just not super excited for it. I don't even want to know what that was. That looked like total slop. Yeah, Puyo Puyo. Yeah. Puyo Puyo is fun, but it's a very niche game. Yeah, it's like kind of like, okay, yeah, these are all the other things that are just kind of cooking. That looks pretty cool. This racing game, Fast Fusion. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're doing a remake of that old Persona game, and Switch is getting exclusively. AI, it's a pretty fun series. I've played a little bit of it. This friggin' like limbo ass kind of looking game. Yeah, and there's some other just kind of, you know, like, this is a total slop game. Anything with physics, that is only physics and puzzle solving, it's just slop to me. So there's at least there was a little bit of slop here, I'll admit. And yeah, Duskblood, like, this was exclusively, that's what it gets me. It's exclusively on Switch. Why? How? For what purpose? And it's multiplayer. It's like basically Night Rain, but it's exclusive to Switch. I just find it super interesting because FromSoft has always been so Sony focused that I can't believe they make an exclusive game for anything but PlayStation. The other thing that also, oh yeah, this reminds me of when Bayonetta went Nintendo exclusive. It was really, really weird. And I wasn't one of those people who was super upset about it. Like, I played Bayonetta exclusively on Xbox because people said that's just the console you play it for. PS3 architecture had a lot of crappy frame rate issues, even though it was very like Japan focused. As an action combat game, it actually ran the best on Xbox. And the sequel was a Wii U exclusive, and that was effing bizarre, to be frank with you. That Platinum got buddy buddy with Nintendo of all people when it wasn't even on the original console. It wasn't even on Wii or whatever. So it was just bizarre, super bizarre that that deal happened. And then Bayonetta 3 came out on Switch, and like, that is one of the best action games. I love Bayonetta 3. It is such a good game. You have so many different weapons and so many different demons. It feels really, really cool. And this feels very similar to that. It's like, so and again, I feel like this isn't a mainline FromSoft series. This is like a spin-off they're doing just for Nintendo. But still, the fact they're doing an exclusive thing just for Nintendo is very interesting to me. It's very, very cool. And of the game that everyone's been asking for, Bloodborne. This almost reminds me of also the fact when Battlefront 3 got leaked and there was a playable version for the Wii, of all things. Just like, what? Like an M-rated, super mature, cutting-edge game. It's like, yeah, we're going to go Nintendo exclusive. Like, what? Like, cool, go ahead, do it. But yeah, this was really something to me. Also, I don't know, Elden Ring rat at the end of that, I have no idea. So it feels like a mesh and a mishmash of a bunch of other things, and that's why I'm not super excited for Dustblood. Like, it'll probably, like, they had a Chinese character in there with like a Chinese like wardrobe and everything. So, and they had a rat and a dinosaur. Like, they had a bunch of very diverse things that didn't mesh together. It wasn't a gothic rat or a gothic Chinese garb or like a gothic dinosaur. There was all these separate things. It felt, dare I say, Fortnite-ish. A bunch of things that just don't belong together that are thrown into the same soup and stir frying to say, we'll see what happens. So there wasn't a cohesive vision. While in Bloodborne, it's like, you could say, hey, where's, the lava level or the ice level? It's like, sorry, you got Gothic Cathedral, Gothic Countryside, and Gothic Dream World. That's it. And it's like, okay, fine, but you're committed to that aesthetic, that idea, that singular vision, which I can appreciate. And yeah, here we have. I thought this was going to be like Smash Ultimate 2 or something with Kirby, and he's trying to save everyone. But yeah, friggin', and then I thought it was actually going to be Kirby. Oh, he's in Mario Kart. Like, okay, sure, you added him in, like, whatever. And then I saw the other ones, and I was like, finally, oh my god, it's actually Kirby Air Ride. Super hype. Just the concept of a sequel to this. It's like, I would go crazy if they did a sequel to Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. Like something like that, like a niche game that no one really remembers. I love seeing sequels to weird games. I don't know. It makes me feel so good to see that. And what was the last thing they showed here? Oh yeah, sorry, I totally forgot. The new Donkey Kong game, Bonanza, Bazinga. This one looks somewhat decent, and you can tell that, I mean, Nintendo is what do they say? They're a mechanics first game company rather than marketing first game company. And you'll see this, someone was talking about this, like Rockstar, they'll find out their marketing budget and then they'll make a game based on that. While Nintendo is like, we're not ever making a sequel to F-Zero GX because we can't innovate on it. It's a perfect game. And so here I can tell they were experimenting with physics, with terrain, with, breakable, destructible terrain, like not exactly Battlefield, but like more so like Red Faction. And it's been a very underutilized mechanic, like in Tears of the Kingdom, and the way it manipulates physics on a kind of semi-grid based system, how it's free but also fixed. Like, you can't put a wheel on a car in any direction. It has to be like 45 degrees or more or less. You can rotate a certain amount. To see Nintendo delve into the aspect of physics-based games and then throw a Donkey Kong skin on it is so smart. Like, I love this concept. This is a game, a new IP that I might actually play. This looks like a lot of fun, where you're Donkey Kong. They did give him a very kind of, I would say, rigorous redesign. He looks very different here. I don't hate it, but it is very different, where I'm like, yeah, that's kind of Donkey Kong. But if you told me that was like Donkey Pong, I'd be like, oh, okay. It's slightly different, and I just love the idea of going through terrain, destroying things, and having a mainline Donkey Kong title that isn't just platforming. That this is a new Donkey Kong, like truly innovative. Like, this isn't just Mario Odyssey. This is like Mario Kart before that existed. Like, this is a whole new Donkey Kong. And I'm glad that they're using a character that they don't usually use. Like, this isn't just Mario if he buff and strong. This is, an evolution for Donkey Kong. I'm really excited to see where this goes. Yeah, this is more like when Legend of Zelda went open world. It's like, yeah, it's still Zelda, but it's really, really different. And that's pretty much the whole show, I think, right there. Yeah, and they also had that digital game things where they're shareable, but the whole thing where you have to install it first for that first time installation, I don't know, it's very scummy. I don't like that. Everything else though, like, wow, I am super hype, super impressed. And we'll just have this little slideshow at the end here. Yeah, game chat, Mario Party, whatever. I don't care about that. Oh yeah, DSX Machina or whatever, the new thing. All the Nintendo stuff. But yeah, that's it. Anyway, super excited, super Mario. What can I say? I haven't been impressed by Nintendo for a long time, and it makes me happy. I want to share that with people. Basically, it makes me happy to be impressed and happy that Nintendo is actually innovating and has a chance to rescoop a part of the gaming market that essentially feels dead right now. It feels like no one's doing anything, no one wants to do anything, and it's just kind of, I don't know, I feel like the end of the industry, and Nintendo's like, nah, we're still gonna do cool stuff and innovative stuff and make people happy. Anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Really happy with this Nintendo Direct. The only good Direct I think I've seen in years besides the whole Smash reveal saga. And yeah, I'm just happy. Anyway, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.